Right. So what we have discussed earlier about business case related stuff, of course, as far as the project I have given. Apart from that, we have discussed about some topics relating to facets and all. And today I'm going to discuss about what are the different groups which will be there on the facets application. Because whenever we are working on facets application, in reference to the implementation and all, there are different groups we have like account application group, right? Accounts of application support group, billing application groups, etc. Okay, so there are different groups we have. So I'm going to discuss about what are the different groups which will be part of facets in today's session.
Okay.
Yeah. So 1 minute, sir. Yeah. So facets application groups. What are all will be there in this facets, right? That's what I'm going to discuss in today's session. Right. So what are the different application groups we have, especially in facets, is what it is. Now, especially whenever we are working on facets groups and all application groups, the first one is called accounting application group. First one is called accounting application group, right? So group is common, so that okay. Anyway, let me write down here. Right. So accounting application group is the first one. So after accounting application group, the next is called application support group. If you want, you can make a note of it. Otherwise, you can take a screenshot of it. Okay. Application support group. After application support group, the next is billing applications group.
Okay.
Next is billing applications group. Next is capitation or risk allocation application group. Understood, Dinesh? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Next, fifth one is called claims processing applications group. Right? Claim processing applications group. Next was commission application group. Next is commission application group. Next, criteria maintenance applications group. Understand? Criteria maintenance applications group. Next was called as customer service applications group. Are you following, Dinesh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next, dental plan application group. Right. So these are the ones. Of course, we have not many things like dental plan provider agreement, medical plan application groups, and all. Let us confine to 9 points now. Of course, there were many other that I'm going to explain in continuation to that, because there are list of points which are available. If you want, you can make a note of it, and in spite of writing it on the screen and all, if you want to write something relating to that, you can write down. So there are a lot of groups which are available. Let me confine to this. Remaining application groups will be explained when if it is completed. Okay. So the first one about accounting application group, we call it as. Normally, whenever we are talking about account application groups, majorly focuses on the accounting perspective. Means whatever the what I can say, whatever the accounting period, because whatever the accounting period we have, at the same time, whatever the kind of line of business do we have, at the same time, whatever the payments and as well as reductions do we have and all that. At the same time, relating to the payer information, bank account details, all these things are comes under accounting application group. Okay. So you can make just a note of it. That's it. Because there are lot many points, I'll just give you some overview. It majorly focuses on do you want to write it, Andy? Do you want to make it?
Yeah, I took a screenshot.
Okay, right. So, okay, fine. So, accounting application group majorly focusing on the account description part, first one, because whatever the account descriptions in reference to the application itself is concerned, that we have to know, because account description followed by the accounting period, because whatever the accounting period we usually maintain whenever we are processing the claims or maintaining the health records and all everything. So that accounting period has to be maintained. At the same time, we have to mention the kind of line of business what it has, because whatever the different lines of business usually this application will perform, followed by the kind of payments relating to the payment reductions and all everything comes under the account application group. So account application group majorly focusing on the accounting aspects of the project, which is something relating to the customer side. Understood,
Okay.
Dinesh? Clear?
Yeah.
Understood or not? Right?
Yeah.
Point number one. Second one is called accounting support application support group. Second one. Accounting application support group majorly focusing on the majorly focusing on the clinical procedures, because whatever the different clinical procedures which organizations provider performs when there is any treatment will be performed for a particular patient, whatever the clinical procedures, and at the same time these clinical procedures will be identified and mentioned based on the code numbers, you know that, right? So procedure and diagnosis codes and all that, that clinical procedure that clinical procedure codes and all everything will be mentioned under the application support group. Followed by this, not only the procedure, as we already know, diagnosis codes and all everything will be mentioned on this. At the same time, we have to mention over the confirmation services also, because whatever the confirmation services do we have, so those details has to be mentioned here. At the same time, in this application support group, we need to mention over the dental categories also, whatever the dental procedure, if any, because these whatever the dental services am I talking about, whatever the dental categories are we talking about. These 10 dental categories is, I don't say it is optional, but whenever it is required, normally we use this. Otherwise, generally we don't use it. Understood, Dinesh, right? Dinesh. Listen.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so because majorly this is an application support group which majorly focuses on the customer service provider part, right? At the same time, utilization management. On that grounds, generally this application support group is being used majorly to start with. Next, apart from that, we need to add details relating to the ICD 9 and 10 procedures also, because whatever the procedure ICD 9 and 10 procedure codes are we going to use, so those details has to be mentioned here. At the same time, even we need to mention about the product categories as well. Whatever the product categories do we have, revenue codes, the kind of system codes what we have, right? So at the same time, audit information, if there is any audit information which is available relating to the application, whatever the transactions are we performing and all. So all this information comes under the application support group. This is what generally we do for. The third one about billing applications group. Billing applications group majorly focuses majorly on the billing areas, because when you're talking about the billing areas, there are few things we need to know here. So when we are talking about billing applications group, the first thing we need to know about the batch receipts. We need to know about the batch receipts. Next, we must be knowing about billing adjustments. We must be knowing about batch receipts followed by the billing adjustments. At the same time, even billing entries, whatever the billing entries we have, followed by in which group these billings are belongs to. At the same time, billing profile and summary. Understood, Dinesh, right?
Yeah.
All these things are comes under billing applications group. Means it is completely relating to the billing part. Either it can be batch receipts or adjustments of the billing, right? So or else it can be billing entries, right? So billing groups, billing messages, profiles, right? So summaries, all these information has to be updated in this. At the same time, whenever we are mentioning about the billing application, this information and all, even in this billing, there are possibilities where if there is any kind of discounts which are part of it, usually even discount calculations and all everything will also be done in this because there are
Okay.
some discounts if there is any, if any, right? Again, this is an optional point, right? Because if there is any discount calculations and all everything, that also will be included in it. At the same time, even receipts histories, receipt processings, all these things will be part of billing application group. It's completely relating to the billing part. At the same time, if there is any discounts which will be taken place, especially in context to the application we talk about, so that information will be included in it. The next one about capitation and risk allocation application group. This majorly focuses on the capitation inquiry. At the same time, not only the capitation inquiry at all, we need to maintain the capitation schedules. At the same time, whatever the batch control parameters do we have, right? So all these informations will be mentioned under the capitation risk allocation group. This is completely relating to the capitation and as well as risk allocation, whatever the risk which is involved in it. So that risk allocation applications, if there is any, so that information will also be mentioned under the risk capitation and allocation group. Along with this, even if there is any possibility where we need to update about the claim mapping also, because whatever the claim inquiry mapping do we have, right? So that inquiry mapping, if there is anything which is essentially, because this is depending on the claim what we have submitted, because it will not be the same for all the claims, because the claim to claim based on the what we call the based
Procedure.
on the procedure what usually we follow. At the same time, the kind of plans followed by the kind of benefits which are involved in it, all these things are something involved in this one when we talk about this claims mapping, all that, right? So this is also one of the key element we need to understand in context to the capitation and risk allocations, all that. Followed by this claim processing application we talk about. When we talk about claim processing application, it starts with claims inquiry. At the same time, even dental claims or login processing. At the same time, if there is any kind of editing to be made to the external claims do we have. At the same time, whatever the hospital pre-pricings do we have or processings do we have. At the same time, whatever the medical claims logins and as well as payment overriding processes, all these things will be involved in this claim processing application. This is completely focusing on the claim area, whatever the claim submissions are we making. It starts with claims inquiry. At the same time, not only claims inquiry, because even dental claims will also be comes under the separate category as separate, right? So because dental claims or dental services will be included in it, even that dental claim line item services history, right? So all these things has to be mentioned under the this claim processing application group, all that. Followed by this, the next was commission application group. When we are talking about the commission applications group and all, it is majorly focuses on the commission adjustments, whatever the, if there is any commission adjustments for that particular service, whatever we are using, that commission adjustments. At the same time, if there is any commission entity or commission inquiries do we have, or if there is any commission scheduling or custom commission summaries we are mentioning, all this information has to be updated under the commission application group. So commission application group majorly focuses on the commissions and all, whatever the commissions are we managing and all. So that commissions and all everything will be mentioned in this. Normally, this majorly defines us to maintain all the commission information, whatever the commission information we have. Because usually commissions we will be provided for agents and as well as brokers and all that. Usually, because right? So they'll get some commission out of the plans which they are enrolling people, right? So selling. I don't say insurance is a selling. Upon request, it will be given, of course, for the policy holders. But still, whoever is the person who is involving in it, they'll get some commissions out of the insurance plans what they have given for people, all that. So of course, the end of the day, this is depends on the customer to customer, what kind of plan they are opting for. That is absolutely of their choice. But end of the day, whatever the commissioning which will be going to the agents and as well as brokers and all, everything will be included in it. So not only this commissioning part and all that, at the same time, when we are talking about the criteria maintenance, next one. So when we are talking about the criteria maintenance and all, it is majorly focusing on few things. One is about clinical editings and all, right? So clinical editing criteria. At the same time, is there any medical admission criteria do we have, or any procedure edit criteria do we have? At the same time, surgical admission criteria. All these things are comes under this criteria maintenance application, because depends on the procedure to procedure, whatever are we following, there are some criterias which will be involved in it. There are some criterias will be taking into consideration. So those criterias and all everything will be included in it, right? Whatever the criterias we have and all everything. Followed by this, if there is any conversion which happens from CPT4 to ICD9, even these conversions and all everything will also be included in this criteria maintenance applications of that. Followed by criteria application services.
That is CPT4 to ICD9.
This is a conversation from CPT4 to ICD9 or 10 and this is
Okay.
conversion part, because ICD9 sometimes it can be ICD10 also. Earlier it was, but now ICD10 now. So even conversion. So even that conversions can also be comes under this criteria maintenance part, criteria maintenance applications part.
Okay.
Understand, right?
Yeah.
So these conversions also we consider, but major criteria we will be following is clinical editing criteria we follow. At the same time, diagnosis edit criteria we follow. Next, medical admission criteria will be followed by us. Next, procedure edit criteria we follow. At the same time, surgical admission criteria also we follow. So all these are comes under the criteria maintenance applications group, all that. Next, about customer service application groups. When we are talking about customer service application groups, it's majorly focusing on the appeals. Because if there is any customer who has taken the service and all everything, there must be a possibility to appeal relating to the queries, what they have, etc. Right? So that is required. It has to allow these appeals and all that. So appeal contracts or appeal reviews, or if there is any customer services to be provided here, or if there is any kind of channeling which is being taken place, all these things are comes under customer service application groups on it. After customer service application groups, the next was dental plan applications. You know it, because dental plan applications majorly focusing on the dental, whatever the different dental plans we have. If there is any applicability which is relating to COB plans, coordination of the benefits. At the same time, whatever the billing components, benefit summaries, followed by any administrative rules relating to the dental procedure, whatever we follow, or any administrative information which has to be updated into the existing dental plans to be updated here, or if there is any kind of deductible rules which are essentially required for us to update, or if there is any explanation of benefit information if you want to provide. All these informations followed by process control agent information. All these informations has to be updated under the dental plan applications group. Understood? Clear,
Yeah.
Dinesh, right? This is it. Next, after dental plan application group, the next is dental provider agreement application group. I'll write up one minute. Next was dental provider agreement applications group. This is also included in it. Yeah, right. So this is also included in it. Next, medical plan applications group. This is included even in it. Medical plan applications group will be included in it. At the same time, medical provider agreement applications group. Next, we will be having this pricing profile applications group. Next one will be for provider applications group. Next important point. This is important point. This is an important group which most of our work will be major work will be involved. Right? One of the major work is involved is subscriber and member application group, because this is one major group which we have to be updated in it. And last but not least, this is relating to utilization management. Understood, Dinesh? Clear?
Yeah.
Right. Utilization management applications group. Right. So these are the different groups which are involved in it. Right. So these are the groups which are, yeah. So sorry. Yeah. So these are the different groups which are involved in it, because after dental plans, all that, right? Whatever the dental plans are we providing, all that, right? So next is dental provider agreement, as I told you. Dental provider agreement means agreements or agreements relating to the dental services, or if there is any kind of category discounts we have provided. All this information will be comes under the dental provider agreement group. Next, about medical plan applications group, the next one. In this medical plan applications group, where we need to mention about, is there any kind of funding rules to be required to mention, any alternate funding rules we have mentioned, or or there is any administrative information or the rules which has to be updated in it. Followed by this, whatever the billing components we have, benefit summaries. At the same time, if there is any interest rates relating to the claims which are there, all coordination of benefit rules, all these things are comes under the medical plan applications group, all that. After that, medical provider agreement application group, which majorly focusing on DRG rules, whatever the DRG rules do we have. So that regulations, rules and all, if there is anything, so that we have to provide, because there are some particular medication which is allowed, right? So allowed, and because in certain conditions some medication has to be provided, right? So those informations and as well as the kind of rules we have to update. At the same time, if there is any medical provider procedure which is to be followed, and how and what to be followed, so all this information, followed by if there is any kind of medical agreements and all, everything that is also comes under the medical provider agreement group. Next one, pricing pricing profile and all. This is anyway, this pricing profile majorly focuses on the conversion of factor profiles, whatever the dental conversion as well as the medical conversions we have. At the same time, we need to mention about the fee schedule profiles, at the same time, room type profiles. All these things comes under the pricing profile applications group, all that. Next was provider applications group. Provider applications means healthcare provider I'm talking about. When we are talking about healthcare provider, we have to mention about network, right? East or west, right? Network area. At the same time, network group has to be mentioned here. And we need to provide details about the practitioner or provider nodes, or at the same time, provider related entities. All this information we have to mention under the provider applications group. Next one, important one, which being a business analyst, especially whenever we are working on the business analyst role, especially if there is any changes or any customization to be made, the remaining areas are there, but majorly one is about claim processing and application. This is where generally there are some customizations which are required for us to make. At the same time, next one about this one, I'm talking about subscriber member application, where we need to mention about the coordination of the benefit related information, eligibility inquiry, enrollments, because most of our job and most of the activities will be performed in these areas, right? Apart from the claims I'm talking about, because eligibility inquiry, which is a common and mandatory one, not only eligibility inquiry, even enrollments and all, everything will be comes under that group, right? All these things. So this part generally majorly business analyst role, being a business analyst role, our role is mainly important in this 15th point, subscriber member application. Apart from claims processing application also, that is required. But of course, when and wherever it is needed, we need to make some customization, but majority of work will be involved majorly in these grounds, because we need to mention about the member notes, right? So we need to mention about the rating inquiry, right? So at the same time, subscriber notes, subscriber family details, all these things has to be mentioned. So that subscriber and as well as member application group is one of the key element. Last
I
one,
got it.
sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, this is important, and 15th and as well as the 5 and 15 are the important. Apart from remaining groups, I don't say remaining are not mandatory or important, but these are more
Majority everyday work is
customized.
like 5 and 15.
Everyday filing work will be more on these two areas. Kabatti, majorly this claim processing applications and subscriber member applications are more important. Last but not least, utilization management, where majorly this case managements, at the same time, whatever the utilization management loggings do we have, right? So inquiries we have, right? All these informations will be mentioned under the utilization management applications group. So these are the different groups which are available under the Facets application. Whenever we are working on, these are the different groups, almost 16 groups we have. These are the 16 groups which will be part of Facets application. If we are working as a business analyst, when we are working as a BA, especially on Facets, these 16 applications, these 16 groups will be available, but some are regular, some are optional, and some are occasional, right? That's how generally the categorization is what we have to do. Understood? Clear? Understood or not?
Yeah, I got it.
Right? And tomorrow I'm going to explain you about the Facets stepwise procedure. What are the different steps which is involved in Facets whenever we want to work on the Facets application? How do we work, right? What are the different step procedures do we have and all everything? That part I'm going to explain tomorrow, right? So major focusing on the product navigation windows, etc. Because some kind of product navigation windows are product navigation windows are important, especially for business analyst roles, because we must be knowing about member, at the same time title bars, right? At the same time, we must be knowing about minimization and maximization, application groups, right? So these are all the informations which are essentially required, because at the same time, status bars, all that. So this product navigation window is important. That product navigation window that I'm going to explain in tomorrow's session, because at the same time, dialog boxes, right? So at the same time, text information, whatever we need to update, right? So all these informations I'll be explaining in tomorrow session. Clear, Dinesh? Followed by Facets messages and all that. That also I'm going to explain tomorrow. Facets messages, all that. Clear,
Okay.
Dinesh?
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow onwards, I am completely focusing on facets. No other information will be mentioned. Right. So we'll be discussing only on the facets application from tomorrow onwards. No other
Okay.
information will be discussed. If there is any integration related, facets related, and at the same time, as I mentioned you, right, this provider information or product navigations, right? So this part only we discuss tomorrow. Clear?
Yeah.
Understood, right? Is it clear to you, Dinesh?
Yeah, it's clear, Raj.
Right, Dinesh. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow.